here. So like a minute ago, we're recording now, but a minute ago when I saw Anthony Johnson's name pop up, my heart kind of sank, and I thought, and then I remember now I don't got to worry about it like that anymore. So this is
Long
it's
time, man. Long time.
yeah, it's different and it's fun. I like this. I like someone actually I was doing a presentation the other day, and a student asked me, and this obviously the answer is not applying to you right now, but she said, "Is there anyone you've ever hated that you've become friends with?" And I was like, "Well, not hating, but people I fought with, because I became good friends with TJ Grant from California
Okay.
or from
Okay.
Canada." And then whenever we set this up, I thought, boy, this is a fun, like, just turn on stuff. Just a fun change of position, man. So
Yeah.
appreciate you doing it.
No problem, brother. No problem. It's an honor to be on your show, man.
Well, I appreciate it. Let's kind of start out with where you're at right now. And right now can either
Okay.
mean like right now, or in your life, because I want to talk about full circle, going back to the beginning of you're fighting, us fighting, beyond that, your hiatus from the sport, but just kind of present day, where you at and what are you doing?
Oh man, right now, I'm in a good spot in life, man. You know, uh, I took time away from the sport, obviously, and I needed it. I needed to get away from the craziness of fighting. You know how it is. It's a bunch of BS from a lot of angles. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, no matter how good you are, you know, you still it's a professional sport. You still got to walk on eggshells. Still got to kind of live that lifestyle that that you didn't sign up for almost. You know, a lot of politics, a lot of greed, and I just got tired of it, man. And it's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And we're wrestlers. We all we know is to go forward and go hard. You know what I mean? So I've been wrestling since I was 8 years old, and just being in the gym and all of that stuff, man, it was like I got burnt out, you know, and took a break. I needed it. I'm glad I took it. A lot of people think I was crazy for taking a break at the peak of my career, but it was my choice. Nobody can tell you when and when not to do something when it comes to your well-being. And I felt like that was the time I needed to step away, and I did that, and I don't regret doing it. Um, I can tell I'm not as young as I used to be. You know what I'm saying? But I, my support system is amazing. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to get back out there and do it again and see what I can do. It's my third go around with this thing.
Yeah, I want to get into that, but specifically when I see something you just said. So I haven't stepped. I train a lot. I train hard. That's basically like fighting minus the fighting part, the strength and
Hmm.
conditioning, the running, all that stuff. But I don't have access nearby to a mat. I have young kids, so I'm not going to travel to get the training in, other priorities. But I think I watch these fights and I think I know I could do that, right? And then I think I'm gonna be 40 next week. I'm gonna be 40. And I think,
Happy birthday.
thank you. I think like, could I do it? I don't know. So when you said that, I think about that too, like stepping on the mat again, like, because you were big and you were strong in your off, like in this hiatus. So whenever you got back, did you know right? Like, was it a gradual? Yeah, I can do this, or did you know right away? Yes, I can do this, or gosh, this is going to be hard.
Right away. Right away. Thanks to Daniel Cormier and Stipe, you know, whenever they had their rematch, I was fat and happy, you know, for sure sitting at 280, like happy, dude. You know what I'm saying? Did not care, drinking, eating, having my fun, going against Craig Jones, for grappling, one of the best in the world. Shout out to him. And I saw their rematch, man. I saw their rematch, and I was just like, the sweet science behind what they were doing. A lot of people probably didn't see the science behind it. They probably saw a boring fight because it wasn't like it wasn't like, Mighty Mouse out there, just fast paced and all of that. I saw it and I'm like, I still can do that. I still got it. So instantly, dude, I was saying no this whole time, and then I saw them fight, and I was like, I got to get back out there and do it. You know what I mean? I still have a lot to offer to the sport. Still have a lot in the tank. I didn't take a lot of damage, whenever I was fighting. Even when I was training, I didn't overtrain. I overtrained one time, but thank God my guy got hurt, so I had a week off. You know what I mean? To recover, which helped me out tremendously. And just when I saw those guys doing it, I was like, I'm still there. And I hadn't thrown a punch since my last fight. And, whenever I went back in the gym to finally like get back going, it felt good. I felt like everything was still clicking. I was winded as hell because I hadn't been training. But my coach was like, AJ, you're still fast and strong, dude. He's like, you haven't lost a step yet. So when I heard that, I was like,
thank goodness,
thank
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I still have it. So doing in that break, I was trying to, do what I always wanted to do as a kid, be a bodybuilder, and I think the fact that I stayed active, doing something that still kept, my muscles and fast twitch muscles or whatnot still going. You know what I mean? So thank God I didn't just sit on the couch like most people after they retire and just have no drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I kept doing something.
I laugh whenever you said sitting at 280. I don't weigh 180 right now. I weigh about 175. 175. So that just makes me. One of the so I want to backtrack before I forget to ask this question. So I'm conducting this interview as a fan, right? Kind of like in awe of the idea that is Rumble Johnson, but also a colleague, but then also a guy who actually fought you. And so I use you as an example of when I talk to kids a lot, and I talk about you specifically, our fight, about overcoming fear, right? Because whenever I beat Story, me and my team were like, all right, well, what? Yeah, all right. So it was a big opportunity in our team, me, my brother, my manager. It was like, all right, who are they going to give us? And we went through all these people, and it was like, okay, well, Rumble's a possibility. And like objectively speaking, and you know how this works, okay, we objectively are saying, okay, that's our worst matchup. Right. Just matter of fact, worst matchup. Okay. But move on to the next one. It's not like whatever. It was what it was. And then when they
you manifested it, dude. You manifested it.
Well, we got the call like a minute later. So like, all right. But I talk about you a lot about overcoming fear, and there's some value in it, right? Of that fight. But what you were saying, so I'm asking this from like a couple of different vantage points of this interview, but specifically you were talking about some of the BS that goes on in fighting and the stress and anxiety, and you dealt with a lot more than I did because your name and your recognition is a lot more. But for you to deal with it, right? Being Rumble Johnson, everyone thinks Rumble Johnson's scary. I mean, legitimately, justifiably scariest guy, et cetera, but you're also a human, right? You got to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you handle stress? What is it like for you dealing with that, being the guy? Because everyone is saying, I mean, I'm like, sometimes I'm the coolest guy in a room simply because I fought you. That's the stock that you have, right? So what is that like for you being the person dealing with that?
Oh man. I want to say I take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? I've kind of, and I'm not being cocky. I'm not trying to boost my ego. I've always, from day one, as an athlete, I've always like stood out as an athlete. I've always had people looking at me. I've always been one step ahead. Just where I'm from, we have athletes, and if you're a good athlete, you're a good athlete. That's just what it is. So I've always been able to accept what comes with the territory of just being an athlete and having a camera in your face or people asking you questions because, wrestling growing up, I would win a tournament. I would have a reporter come and ask me a question or, we have a football game and I was the running back and the linebacker. And if I had like a great game, the local television station would interview me and stuff like that. So I kind of embraced it in a way and just accepted it for what it was and just kept it moving, you know. And I'm not the one that wants the camera in his face. You know what I mean? Because when the camera usually comes around, you just can't be yourself for the most part. But I also never truly felt like I was that guy. I never felt like I was that guy because I never felt like I was better than anybody else when it came to just being a human. You know, you put me out there, you know, in the cage. I do feel like I'm the man, but I know the possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah.
You put me on the football field, I feel like I'm gonna run through you or run around you, you know. But I also know the possibilities of what could happen. It could be the other way around. You know, I always look at the pros and cons whenever it came to this stuff. But being that guy was just, I don't know, man. I just never felt like I was that dude. I just believed in myself and just understood who I was. The only time I felt like there was pressure was whenever it came to weigh-ins, you know, and losing the weight. That was the only time I ever felt pressure, dude. It was like, you know, you saw me.
I want to talk about that because my buddies, I was like, well, you want me to ask him anything? And my one buddy said, yeah, ask him how close he was to not making weight when we fought. Like, walk.
Oh, I was there. I wasn't gonna not make weight. Every time I had a fight, dude, I was set mentally. I was gonna make the weight. You know how it is. You're there. You know, I got to do it no matter what. It was always hell once I got to about 176 because by the time I got there, I was pretty much dry to the bone. You know what I mean? It was only scary because I knew I had to go into a sauna. I knew I had to suffer to get those last 5 pounds off. You know what I mean? And in my head, I always thought I had to make 170. I never truly knew I could have made 171. So
like you actually didn't know?
Terrible. In my head, I was like 170. I got to get to 170. And if I wasn't, I could be 171 and I would be like, I got to get to 170. You know what I mean? And that was the most stressful part was just the losing the weight. The last 2 or 3 days was just the most stressful part. That was it. But other than that, everything was beautiful, man. I had fun during camp. It was never an issue to cut food off. Just being the wrestler, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And it was never an issue. But I tell you what, brother, anytime I had a chance, as soon as that weigh-in was over to get a meal, man, I was popping up at Burger King, Pizza Hut, everywhere else. But like when I fought you, man, I was never worried about anything except for I was there when you fought Rick Story because you actually replaced me and Nate.
Yeah. I didn't even know you were in that. That. Dude, oh yeah. That is it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Nate. I ended up getting injured, and then, you know, the rest of the story, you know, with Nate and then blah blah blah. So yeah, man. Whenever I saw you, I was like, this dude just came out of the woodworks and just put a whooping on Rick's Story. I was like, damn. Sucker's kind of tough with this wrestling game. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, dude, you won. I was highly impressed. I stood up, I clapped for you. I was like, this dude's badass. I never thought I would fight you though.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So when I got the phone call myself to fight you, I was like, is he gonna do the same thing to me that he did in the story?
I wish I would have, but you had different plans.
But man, you know how it is. When you walk in the cage, you walk in there with a chip on your shoulder that you're the fucking man. So excuse my language, you know, but that's how it is. You know, you walk in there confident. No fighter should walk in that cage and be like, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to get my butt whooped, regardless if it's David versus Goliath. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and you give it your all. You know, and if it's your day, it's your day. If it's not, it's not. You know, but with you, the only thing I was truly worried about was you just taking me down and beating me up, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. What I guess often, but what do you think you weighed the night that we fought?
Oh, for sure, 200.
200. That's about
easy.
what I would have said.
Yeah,
Um,
200 easy. I was that we like actually I saw you in the elevator whenever after weigh-ins. You probably don't remember. I think it was you and your parents. Just
I
let's say
think I
you
do
and
in the lobby. Yeah, because you were
yeah,
so
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
everybody. We're fighters. We got to be cool at some
Yeah.
point. Um, after weigh-ins, when you saw me though, I was already up to about 190. That was like an
Jeez.
hour and a half after weigh-ins. Getting back to the hotel. That's whenever we were allowed to have IVs and
Yeah.
like replenish the way we needed to,
Yeah.
which fighters still need to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I got that IV and was eating my, you know, uh, pasta and stuff, and got up to like 190 quick, and then probably before the night was over, but I was for sure 195, 200 easily.
It's so funny because I was more successful at welterweight than I was at lightweight in the UFC. Outside the UFC, I did really well at lightweight, but I mean, I would weigh 178, 178.6, like in the ring. And it's funny. I use you as an example a lot, but I'd say legitimately, you're the only fight where I felt it. Where in a fight, it's like just like dunk, dunk, dunk. With you, it was
Yeah,
like I remember I was underneath and you were kind of in a front head punching under, and I was saying ouch, ouch, ouch. It was terrible.
man, like a lot of people. The thing about it with me, brother, I go all out, and people don't realize that. People can say, "Oh, Rumble Johnson comes out of shape. He has terrible cardio." Dude, I train hard just like anybody else. I refuse to go in any fight out of shape. You check my pulse and all that stuff, a heart rate after working out. It's up there with everybody else's, and it drops like no other.
Yeah,
But the difference between me and everybody else, when I swing and when I punch and when I did something, I truly did it 100%. People say they do it 100%. They leave it all in the cage. Nobody can say they were doing it like me, because every punch,
yeah,
every kick, I did it 100%. You know what I mean? Like all out,
yeah.
all out. I put every bit of my heart and energy and soul into every punch and every kick, and nobody else can say that.
I
So
felt
they can
it.
talk, they can talk about my cardio all they want, but they also talked about the results of whenever I actually connected. You know what I mean? No offense to you.
Nah,
So
it's cool. It's cool. um, how important is training? So I don't know in kind of prepping. I don't do a lot of prep for the show because I like to have kind
yeah,
of on the fly conversation, but I want to
yeah.
get some things straight in terms of your timeline. But so I don't know what your early training looked like, but at some point you linked up with Hooft and you linked up with Black Zillions and you linked up with another, I think anyway, another level of training. What was your training like early on, and then how significant was that upgrade in training, if that's accurate?
You mean from start of my career to
Like, did you make a move, either physically move from one place to another, or was there
yeah,
a
dude? I was moving all around. All right, this is how it started. For my career, I went out for the Shamrock, the Lions Den for Ken Shamrock. Made that with flying colors, but it was tough. Like the stories about that is tough. I'm actually one of the guys that can say I've been through the ringer with him. Um, Stopped working with that team, moved to LA. Got with Shootbox USA. That's when the team had first started, and that's when Shooterbox was like top of the world. Vanderlei, Shogun, Ninja, like everybody. Pride was like it besides UFC. Um, those guys came to LA and trained with us. They didn't know who the hell I was, but I was still training with those guys when they came to town.
and you were in the
Which was
UFC at that time?
no, I wasn't. I
Okay.
wasn't in UFC. I was still in, and I wasn't in UFC. I was about to say I was an amateur, but I've never had an amateur fight ever. They threw me right in with the Wolves, brother, for my first fight. Um, so from there, that team kind of like fell apart, and I moved up to the Bay Area, and then I started training with. I trained with AKA for about a week, and it just wasn't me. You know what I mean? I just felt like it wasn't the right fit for me at the time. They had Mike Swick, Koscheck, Fitch, Kane. That's whenever AKA was like AKA. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the team. So I went from there to Kung Lee's. Then that's when I started kicking, started learning how to kick. And the crazy part about that is whenever I was trying to learn how to kick from Kung Lee, my very first kick, I tore my meniscus. Very first kick, I kicked the pad and just dropped. I hit the ground. You know what I mean? I was like, something happened. Ended up tearing my meniscus. Fought for like a whole year with a torn meniscus in the UFC. And then that team, was starting to cater to more of the smaller guys, so I needed to move on to something else. So I was kind of just gym hopping to get some bodies and some work in. Train with Nate Diaz a little bit, and people don't know it. Nate may be skinny, but he's got some sting behind those punches, brother. I tell you that right now. Nate hit me with a left right down the pipe, and I was like, oof. It did. I didn't see stars, but I felt it. You know what I mean? I felt it for sure. I grappled with Gilbert Melendez and Jake Shields, and we were all just young and having fun, doing what we love to do. And I had an opportunity after I fought Dan Hardy. I think it was Dan Hardy. I was fighting him, and my boy Nate he said, "Hey man, we got this guy named Glenn want to talk to you. He's starting up a new team down in Florida." And all right, so I had nothing to lose, only something to gain. So I flew out, came down here to Florida, and met with my old manager Glenn Robinson. Rest in peace. And the team just kind of developed. I came down here, we loved it, and it was on the up and up from there. You know what I mean? Rashad was here, Michael Johnson, Jay-Z, George Santiago. Man, it was just, at the beginning, it was just, we had no name. It was Imperial MMA or athletics or whatever it's called. And we was just at a gym called Imperial. Just a group of guys training from all over the joint, just in one gym training. And Alir Latifi was even down here with us, and one day I think like Danilo and the guys were like, this is just a team full of black people and Brazilians. And then you got Dennis Alir, and then Alir was like, I'm Albanian, you know what I mean? So, and we just came up with the Black Zillions, and it just stuck, you know what I'm saying? And the part that killed me with that was everybody was like, oh, you got to be either black or Brazilian. And we were like, dude, it's nothing like that at all. We welcomed everybody and anybody to come to the gym and train. We weren't like that. We were just a group of guys that was just, it was like 8 of us. That was about it, dude. It wasn't a big crew. And from there, we just started Black Zillions, man. And Henry came along. But the reason why Henry came along was Tyrone came down and trained with us. And most coaches are like, get movement, do this, do that, you know what I mean? And like, you don't understand at that time that you're just creating movement. And I understand a moving target is very hard to hit. So that was my mentality, just move, and like stick and move, do what you do, stick and move. And then here, I work with Tyrone, and he stalked me so bad. Stalked me. If I go left, he went left. I go right, he went right. I was like, damn, I'm moving, and this dude is still popping me, and I wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
I'm used to being the head honcho and leading the pack and punching whenever I want to punch and hitting whenever I want to hit. And Tyrone was just that guy. He was levels above me, and I was like, I gotta learn that. I want some of that. You know what I mean? Brought Henry down. We just started trying to make history. We made a pact to really give it our all to each other and really dedicate ourselves to each other and the style after my fight with Vitor. You know what I mean? We locked in with each other, and we were on the up and up. It's like nothing could stop us until we met Daniel.
Yeah, it's such a part of history, MMA history, really. And I'm, as a fan right now, listen to that, because I used to be the guy Googling and going to MMA Mania and Junkie and seeing all this stuff. So it's cool to hear the origins of that and then the evolution. And I don't want to say that from a fan perspective, it seemed so quick, but it was like, man, there, and then it wasn't there. I feel like it was there for a while, and then it wasn't there, and then it was a disbursement, but now it's almost like like Hooft is still there, and with Chandler, or I think anyway, they're in Florida, correct?
Yeah.
So it's like might have a different name, but I feel like some of the same
Sanford. We're
faces are.
Sanford MMA now. Yeah, we're
All right.
Sanford MMA now. And the team, a lot of the guys aren't around anymore. Rashad is retired. Tyrone is in boxing now. You got guys like Michael Johnson. He's off training at a different camp doing his own thing. Sometimes you just got to get away from what you're so used to get a different look. And that's what a lot of guys have done. But they still come back home and train. You know what I mean? Kamaru is at, he went to Denver. He trains out there, whenever he's home, with his daughter and stuff, he's training all over the joint. We get it in, we get in where we fit in and make it work.
Yeah. When you alluded to the Vitor fight, when you bumped up from 70 to 85 to then 205 and 285 a little bit, was that an easy decision for you? And again, I'm reading it and I'm hearing the stuff about you, like the weight cutting troubles, et cetera. But was that like an aha, man, I'm doing this, or did it take nudging for you to do it?
To take the Vitor fight?
No, to bump up a weight class, to bump up initially from 70.
Well, I say this. I was presented the opportunity to fight Vitor. I'm young and hot-headed and, full of piss and vinegar. So I feel like I can take this guy. So I just decided, yeah, I'll do it. Let me talk to my squad. And of course, I knew they were going to say yeah. But before I truly say yeah to any opponent, I talked to my guys because we're a team. And I told them, they was like, let's do it. You want to do it? I'm like, why not? It's an opportunity. So I took it. I just took it. You know what I mean? It was an opportunity. After missing weight at 185, because I grew, it was like once I decided to go up and put some mass on, my body just was like, hey, it's time to be a man now. So it's like, it's time to go from a boy to a man. So my body just kept growing. I missed weight with that. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Why put myself through this? This torture and shamefulness, in the media and stuff like that. Why embarrass my squad, my manager, my coaches, my team, because they don't deserve this, my mistakes. So I just, he was like, screw it, let's go up. Let's just go up. 205 will work. Went out there and had a fight at Titan Fighting Championship against a guy named Emilio Estevez. You would think that's a Hispanic guy, but he was black. And made not my UFC, but my 205 debut there, and it was just on the up and up. And I felt fine. I felt fine from start to finish. My first fight at 205, though, it was in Oklahoma. I think it was in Oklahoma. No, St. Louis, Missouri. And it was hot as hell outside, dude. And I was like, I still got 2 pounds or something like that to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I went outside. I put on my sauna suit and just went outside and started running. It felt like 1,000 degrees out there. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm probably about to pass out, but I'm running down the road. To me, I felt like I was running. To everybody else, it probably looked like I was speed walking. You know what I mean? So I was just determined to make this weight and not fail anymore. Because when you miss weight, dude, you feel like a failure.
It's like a nightmare type thing. Like it feels like you're waking up from a nightmare. And I did miss weight, but I would have nightmares of missing weight. And it's like, time running out and not making it. And it's not a thing you want to do. And that's interesting
not at all.
To hear your perspective of not wanting to put that on your team too. That's a thing that's real.
I'm not a selfish person, man. It's not just about me. Even though I'm out there, taking the damage and putting it on the line, they sacrificed a lot themselves by giving me their time and their knowledge, and at the same time, they didn't have to do that. They could have given it to somebody else, so I want to make sure when I go out there, I'm representing everybody to the fullest.
Yeah.
And it's going to be worth it.
And then physically fighting guys, at 70 and then 205 heavyweight and 205 again. When I went down to 55, at first, in the minor leagues, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to be great at 155 in the UFC. This is awesome. and then that was not the case. But I did notice like an actual difference: smaller, a lot more manageable, a lot faster, etc. Did you notice a big difference bumping up from 70 all the way up to kind of where you're steady at now with 205?
Nah. I was always fast. I always had the speed and the power and the IQ to survive it most weight classes, regardless of what weight I was at. So I didn't really notice a difference. I mean, of course, 170, I was stronger than everybody and just bigger than everybody, but those guys were still fast. You know what I mean? So I think just the fact that I was used to that type of speed, going up to 85 and 205 and to heavyweight, it was nothing. Even when I fought at heavyweight against Andre Arlovsky, Andre wasn't slow.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, and just the fact that you see his size, and when he throws a punch, it may look slow to you, but it's fast. Yeah. It's still fast. He's still an elite athlete. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't notice a difference except for the size, and that was it.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about life outside the cage. You do a lot. I've followed you, online since prior to fighting and after fighting. Actually, you were the first. So way back, I don't know when, not 8, 9, 10, something like that. My roommate at the time was like, "You should really get an Instagram." And I was like, "I don't want to get an Instagram. I already have a Twitter." And she was like, "No, but there's this guy, Anthony Johnson." Like my roommate, she never watched really fighting other than me. She was like, "He has Instagram and he's a good follow and you should really get Instagram." I was like, "All right, I'll check it out." So I've been following you on Instagram for, a while, a decade probably. But life outside the cage, right? Things that you do with the cannabis, with bullies, French bulldogs. I think you have a business with that. Extrapolate on some of that stuff.
Well, I've always had a love for dogs. I'm a country boy. I want a small farm. I done had chickens, ducks, chickens, ducks, horse, cows, you name it. I got a pond back home. Yeah, I got, you know what I'm saying? I'm just that lifestyle I was living. But I've always had a love for dogs, man, and even had a pit bull in my dorm room in college whenever I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
So I just always found comfort in dogs. You can have the worst day. You can be sick as ever, probably on your deathbed. Your dog will make you feel better because they love you no matter what. You know what I mean? You can come in, you can scream. Their ears may go back and their tail is tucked between their legs, but they still love you. You know what I'm saying? So I just love dogs, the breed. But I definitely have a special connection with bullies, pit bulls, bullies. I have a newfound love for Frenchies, French bulldogs. I have a little Frenchie named Rumble the Frenchie, and I was actually going to name him Rambo. And I just kept calling him Rambo, and he never paid attention. Then when I said Rumble, the little man looked right at me. I was like, "Well, that's your name." And it's fun. I met a lot of great people through the dog world, the breeding industry, and a lot of people are against it. Breeding and stuff like that. I'm against backyard breeders and these puppy mills. Mm-hmm. And I was just the guy. I would breed maybe once a year, maybe twice. I did it because I actually loved the animals. I didn't do it because I was trying to make money off of them and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I always wanted to create a badass dog, but I did it whenever I wanted to. I didn't do it just because my female was in heat. I didn't care. Yep. That wasn't. She didn't need to be bred just because she was in heat. And a lot of people are like that, but that's not me. But I have a new bully on the way. I took a little break from the dogs for a little bit. I got a new bully on the way from my boy Emmanuel at Bull Sachi line. You know what I mean? He's got one of the top. I actually have Bull Sachi's littermate sister. And I would have never known her brother was going to be like this top of the line stud now. You know what I mean? So I went back and I got another dog from him, So I just love him, man. I have, dogs now. My girl Masaki, she's all over me. I can't move anywhere. She snores in my ear, man, like nonstop. The other day I was talking to my grandmother, and I said, "Mom, listen to this." I put the phone down next to Masaki's head, and the dog was just snoring so hard. My grandmother was like, "That's a human?" I said, no, Ma, that's the dog. And she was like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the dog is right here. She snores like a human. She probably thinks she's human. Every time I go somewhere, she has her eyes on me. She hears the fridge open. She's right behind me expecting some food. You know, I just grab a banana. She knows it's hers, even though
Yeah.
it's for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I share everything with her. I share fruit, veggies. That's my girl. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I spend a lot of time with her. But I just overall, she can be a chihuahua for all I care. I just love dogs and animals and just have I like animals more than I like people. Put it like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
My wife and I have a Frenchie as well. Whenever
nice.
I think we were married or just about married, and I feel the same way about dogs.
Yeah.
I had a dog forever growing up, but I would always see your posts with the pit bulls and then the Frenchies, and I just thought it was a different aspect outside of fighting. That
It's so relaxing, man. You know, you can, like I said, you can have the worst day. You know what I mean? You can feel like absolute crap and not want to be bothered with anybody. Your dog can come up to you and just chill with you, and that's all you need, because you feel the love coming from the dog. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I just I love animals. You look at my Instagram and you look at my search engines. It's now it's starting to be more MMA, but it's animals. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's lions, tigers, and bears, dude. It's animals. It can be a penguin in there in the search engine somewhere, man. It's majority of what you see will be animals.
I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, and I'm the same way on I found Nature is Metal. I don't know if you follow them or not, but it's an awesome Instagram follow. But it's real, like real, animals killing animals.
Yeah.
It's hard to swallow sometimes. But the other day I heard my son, in the voice thing to search on YouTube on the TV, I heard him say leopard killing alligator, and he's 4.
Dude, but that's dope. I've seen that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't like. Now with today's technology and cameras are everywhere, you wouldn't think that you see a leopard killing a caiman or whatever it
Yeah.
is. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
it hunts these things and it actually jumps in the water and goes into the caiman's territory and kills it. And
Yeah.
and it pulls it out of the water like it's nothing, dude. With sheer strength and like Jesus, you imagine if it grabs a human and just carries us off like it's nothing, dude. It's incredible what these animals are like and what they can do, man. So I'm amazed at just nature in general, man.
Yeah.
I'll watch, like, Shark Week is my shit. Sorry,
Yep.
excuse my language again,
Sorry.
But Shark Week is it, man. And National Geographic and all of this. You'll catch me on Netflix watching how the world came about. You know what I'm saying? With animals and stuff. I'm just that guy. I'm different. Just because you see me in the cage and I'm punching people, man, I'm not trying to be that guy outside. They're paying me to do that stuff in there,
Yeah.
and it's competition. Outside of that, dude, I'm such an animal lover. It's like ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
after my first fight, man, I plan on going to, if we can fly and travel, I want to go to the safari and just travel and see these things. I want to do that.
Yeah, I feel it also, and I don't know if it's because I had kids. I don't know if it's post fighting. I don't know what it is, but it does. I love the awesomeness of it, the just the awesomeness of it, the potential of it, the violence of it. But also it's so like peaceful, peace inducing, and just big and pretty, and I don't know, just takes you into place.
But and it's crazy because you see a lot of these animals and like I saw it's a video going around right now where it's a duck or a swan and a puppy, and the puppy is just sitting on top of the duck, just chilling, or you got, you see these other animals, dogs or cats or something, nursing an animal that has nothing to do with them. You know
Very
what I mean?
odd.
I'm like, that's we don't see that, and that's very odd, but it's so freaking cool, man. I think that's dope.
I saw, this will be the last little segue here on animals, but I saw one the other day. It was a baby cheetah and a baby antelope. And so like, and I learned through this post that the cheetah is supposed to kill the antelope, but they were both young. They're both adolescents. They didn't know that. Like, the antelope didn't know I should run. The cheetah didn't know I should kill him. And so they just sat, No, they were just literally staring at each other, like just like a teenage boy and a teenage girl. Like, I don't know what to say right now. It was very odd.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
I love those videos though. It's like it's one of a kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something you just don't see, but when you see it, you're like, yo, that's pretty awesome because
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be like that right now.
Yeah. And then, so we can go into the cannabis business or not, but I do want to start talking
Yeah.
about either after that or now, your decision to come back, sign with Bellator, and the potential of Bellator. There's a lot of potential.
Oh, we can talk about whatever, man. You want to talk about cannabis? Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
You know,
just talk about that, like from a business perspective, something you do. I'm just fascinated by people who start things and pursue
yeah.
things.
I mean, with the business, man. You know, I started with my guys at Competitive Body Development. We started a CBD oil company, and that was a good company. The product was great, but you know, CBD, once that was just open to anybody, the whole entire world started trying to do CBD, and they just watered it down. You know what I mean? Quick. It was hot. It was just a fad at the end of the day. So we switched over to cannabis, and I met this guy named Jacob. My partner John introduced me to him, and Jacob has been great. We started Rumble Time Consultants. So we're consulting for other cannabis, you know, businesses and stuff like that. We're starting our own Rumble Time products, Rumble Kush. You know, it's just on the up and up, man. You know, we're still small. I'm not trying to push it as if like it's the next coming of Jesus, but it's a product and it's a business that I truly believe in. I wouldn't be a part of it if I
Yeah.
didn't believe it. And my squad, once again, is great. You know what I'm saying? So my hat goes off to Jacob, Julie, everybody. You know what I mean? We're gonna do really big things and some great things, and I know that because everybody's like dedicated to the business.
Yeah.
And that's still, you know, in the works. You know, we got we're an S corp, so we're legit.
Yeah.
It's just now, you know, about pushing forward
Yeah.
and making it happen even more. So that's still to be continued. But we got some great things coming along, and it's not just cannabis. It's everything. We're going to do it all when it comes to the cannabis business. So.
Yeah.
Next time I talk to you, I have a better story.
No, I'm excited for it. And like I said, for example, Chad Mendez and what he does with Fins and Feathers, like his business front, like outside of fighting, I just enjoy seeing, because a very real thing with fighting that people don't realize is even if you're Anderson Silva, eventually you're going to stop fighting. Rumble, one day you're going to stop fighting. And it's like, okay, what now? And you see people kind of like become more human, but you just see different elements of, I've only looked at this guy as a fighter forever. Oh, now they're fighting. Oh, this is him as a person. This is him with friends, him with family, him doing other things.
Yeah.
So I'm just always curious about, you know, people who start things after fighting, because that's a reality. Fighting ends eventually.
Yeah, they people don't think outside of the box when they see us. They just see us for what we do, not knowing that we are human beings. We do have a normal life. We do want to do normal things that most likely you like to do, you know? So just being able to show that, I think is pretty cool, because now people have a different perspective of us and understand like we're no different than you. We just chose a different career path. That's it.
Yeah. Your decision to come back with Bellator, and whether the decision-making process was easy, difficult, but more so like you as a person getting back into the groove of, all right, I'm a fighter again, and this is the lifestyle, this is the livelihood of a fighter, and then kind of what you're hoping with Bellator.
Signing with Bellator, it was just a new beginning for me. You know, I had a lot of fun in UFC. I give all of my credit for the most part to UFC, because the world wouldn't know who Anthony Johnson, Romo Johnson was or is, you know, if it wasn't for UFC. So I give all of them credit. You know what I mean? I wish we all, you know, we be getting them fat checks, you know what I'm saying? Like the NFL players and NBA players, but it is what it is, you know? I'm always preach that. But signing with Bellator, man, and Scott Coker and those guys, Mike Hogan, is great. It's great. The energy's great. You know, I met with Mike and had breakfast with him, and it was just amazing. You know, my manager, Ali, He hooked it up, got me a really, really, really dope contract. I have no complaints. I'm just ready to go and fight. I look forward to the competition that's out there. I think we can compete with the UFC with what we have, you know, and you know, a lot of people think that just because the Bellator promotion isn't what UFC promotion is, that, you know, the fighters aren't the same caliber. You know, and there's always levels to everything, every business, every promotion. But Bellator is no joke. Look at my guy. My teammate Michael Chandler went over there last weekend and destroyed Dan Hooker.
Smoked him. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Smoked him. But I knew that was coming. I'm like, y'all don't realize how dangerous Michael Chandler is. And even though he came from a smaller promotion, he's still an elite fighter. He wasn't there being the champ and fighting the best of the best for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to war with Eddie Alvarez. And to me, Eddie Alvarez is for sure the greatest fighter ever.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because he's been to every organization and won the title. People don't give that man credit.
Yeah.
You know, and I also see that fans are now starting to understand that, you know, you don't have to be just a UFC fighter to be successful and be able to feed your family and be something. You know what I'm saying? So, you can don't be afraid to go outside of the box. If, you know, there's other things out there you want to be able to do another promotion, go for it. Try it out. And I think Bellator for me was the right move. You know what I mean? I'm extremely happy that I'm with Bellator, you know, and I think we're going to do some big things together.
Well, I sure as shit will be watching and be excited. I never swear on the show, but I couldn't think of a more whatever to say. But I'm excited, man, and the potentials, the coming back, all of it, the excitement, the reality of it. It's a cool thing, and you know, it's something I'm very much looking forward to, and I feel comfortable. A lot of people are looking forward to it.
Thank you, man. I will say that it feels good that even after being gone for pretty much 3 years, that the world still embraces me and, you know, welcomes me with open arms, man, because a lot of athletes can't do that. You know, once they're gone, they're gone. And I really thank everybody for sticking by me and still supporting me. And I'm glad I left some type of impression on their life where they want to see me fight again. And glad I'm coming back. Because once again, a lot of fighters that try and come back is not the same hype.
Yeah.
It's not the same excitement. And I'm glad I did something right to be able to want the world to still be able to see me fight, man. So thank you all. I can't thank you and the rest of the world enough, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to probably come back at all.
Yeah. I mean, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, you know, just being one of those highlights that people remember.
It's funny, dude, but it's not funny, you know.
It is. It's exactly right. It is funny, but it's not funny. But no, man, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. This is a really neat. Honestly, it's probably the most unique interview I've ever done. You know, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate, you know, what you're doing and coming back, and I'll be watching. You know, and I wish you the best of luck.
I really appreciate it.
In and out of the cage.
Have you posted up that picture of us?
The one from Philadelphia?
Yeah. Like when we fought, and then like when we saw each other again. You know what I mean?
I do. It's very funny because I remember that day. So if you're talking about the same picture, there was
we were by the cage. We were at the fight.
Yeah, at Philly. Yeah. And it was Laura, who used to work for the UFC, who was super kind, super nice. She was like, "Hey, why don't you and Anthony get a picture?" I was like, "No, I'd rather not." She's like, "No, why don't you two get a picture?" I was like, "No, I'd rather not." So she kept pushing it until we were standing side by side. But it was like 5 weeks out. I don't know how much you weighed, but it was a lot more than me. And I was like, I don't need him and the rest of the world to see this now, right? Let's just wait.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, man, you know what, dude? But I do say, I gotta thank you though, man, because you have always been a class act towards me. You have always shown so much respect, and I can't, like, I'm a very I'm not a people's person more than what people think, but I actually like you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I think you're a great guy. So I'm like excited to be able to even be on your podcast right now, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's so dope.
that means a lot to me, and I'll reciprocate it with this in the lobby in DC. I remember my family meeting him and being like, he's so kind, like he's so kind. From the lobby experience of that first interaction, and I actually had my Frenchie with me down in
Oh, you
DC.
did?
Yeah, I did. She stayed in the hotel with us. But yeah, man,
Nice.
it's reciprocal, and I wish you continued success. And I appreciate you being here. Any social media links or anything like that you want to share, please do.
You can always find me at Anthony _ Rumble on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on Facebook. Holler at me, man. I'm not afraid to talk to the fans at all. I talk to pretty much everybody on there. If you reach out to me and you seem like a cool person, I'll most likely reply back. If you're a dickhead, I'll probably reply back again in a much worse way. But everything for the most part is all positive and it's all love, man. And everybody, and right now, in my opinion, we all just need to be cool and stick together and make this thing work for all of us right now. And yeah, hit me up.
Agreed.
Hit me up. Let's all just be cool, man.
Agreed. And if I ever do happen to be at a gym that you're at, I would like to roll and grapple, but I do not want to spar. So that'll be
no sparring, all grappling, baby. Let's do it.
I'll try to put on 50 pounds and then see what we can do. All right,
for
dude.
sure.
I appreciate it, Rumble.
It was great seeing you, man. Great talking to you.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
All right, dude. Take care.
Bye.